Hello guys, in my last Perpetuum video, my What to Do First Beginner's Guide, I promised you that I would show you some beginner activities that you can do to get yourself started in the game and feel out other content in the game, and here's one I am bringing to you, called bossing. Alright, well, it's not actually called bossing, but the game doesn't have a name for it other than killing bosses, so I'm gonna steal a name from RuneScape. Bossing. The concept of bossing is very simple, and at least on New Virginia, which is the starting alpha island all new players will begin the game on, it is very, very accessible, and the most amount of bosses on any one island are located here. There are 6 bosses on this one island. Simultaneously, these are also the easiest bosses in the game. Every single one of them, technically, can be soloed in your Arc. Your Arc is your training robot, which if you skip the tutorial, this is the only robot you're going to have. If you actually do the tutorial, you will get a light bot and an assault bot for the faction which you picked, as well as Syndicate, which is a more general faction, which is good at a little bit of everything, but doesn't excel at anything like the other factional robots do. If you complete the tutorial, you will also get some equipment for your faction bots, meaning if you've completed the tutorial, you can go out and do what I'm about to show you in any of your factional bots by just throwing on the gear you're given without any special fits. Now, if you do want to be a little picky about what you bring, maybe bring some damage amplifiers for your head slots. Some sensor amps as a new player can help you lock on to things faster, which can make this process a little speedier as well. For your lower slots, you definitely want an armor repairer unless you're playing Pedestal, in which case you want a shield. You can throw some buffer on there as per what you're using. If you're using a shield, accumulator recharger never hurt anyone, even if you're using armor. Some buffer in terms of some armor plates or some armor hardeners might help as well. Otherwise, you just want weapons and you want ammo. What kind of ammo? Doesn't really matter for these bosses. You can bring your standard ammo. You can bring chemoactive ammo if you want to be a little better against all of them. And you can bring whatever ammo the boss is going to be the weakest to if you feel like min-maxing, but realistically you don't. These bosses die very, very quickly. Now, the later ones in the other islands do not. Note that only is the case for New Virginia. So whereas this is going to be easy, remember this is your first taste. You're not actually seeing what every boss in the game is going to be like. Now the whole point of bossing is you go around an island, you kill all the bosses, you get experience from them, you get a bunch of good items like kernels, which can be used for research or be sold for a good amount of money, as well as plasma, which can just be sold, as well as some items like gear, some modules, some Tech 2 prototypes of said modules. The prototypes are also used for industry, but can also be just used as a module. They're better than Tech 2, and you'd probably have a hard time selling them, from what I've been told, to anyone other than a PvPer. Now, one important thing to note with these bosses is that this content is only available on the Open Perpetuum server, or with the Open Perpetuum source code. This was not in the base game. This was added by the community developers of Open Perpetuum. So, if you're looking at this for your own server, you're not going to find it unless you're using the Open Perpetuum source code. The first boss, or should I say first 2 bosses, would be the Malfunctioning Arc. This is the easiest boss in the entire game. It's the only level 0 boss that exists. For whatever reason, 2 of them spawn. Don't know if that's a bug or intentional, but just jump out of the True Hold Marks and Alpha terminal, which you start in upon finishing the tutorial. Head south, and showing you on the screen right now here, there it is, the Malfunctioning Arc. That is my waypoint for it. It is located at coordinates, and you can find coordinates by hovering over a location on your map when you hit M. Coordinates 1115 by 1025. That is where the Malfunctioning Arcs are located. There's 2 of them. They can be popped off real easily in an arc or anything, really. And you can grab your loot, bring it right back to the terminal. It's right there. The next boss is the Clan Member. This is the first of the level 1 bosses I'm going to be showing you. The Clan Member, really not that difficult. As a new player, you just throw that loot you start the game with on any of your factional bots, light or assault, and you'll be able to solo this, but there's no harm doing this with anyone else, no matter how weak or powerful, because everyone that takes part in the fight gets their own loot dropped under them. Same goes for the Malfunctioning Arc, but they're so weak, good luck trying to get multiple players to shoot it. You'll probably kill it before you can get more than 2 new players to get a shot on. If any of you brought an assault bot, you might just one-shot it anyway. But for the clan member, it's the first level 1 bot I'm going to be showing you. Like I said, loot can spawns underneath your robot. The clan member is located at coordinates 438 by 286. And just so you note, all of the coordinates I am giving you are on New Virginia. If you turn on named sectors in the landmarks tab of your map, you can actually see the clan members up there in the Bellica sector. Now moving it on down to the south all the way to the Cadavria sector, we see the Sacrist Convert. The Sacrist Convert is located at 348 by 1862. Not all the bosses are alone. Some of them have little escorts that accompany them and will attack you if you attack the bosses themselves. It's usually worth killing these as a new player because they do give you some more experience points and a little bit of loot as well. And you know, it really wouldn't hurt you to go kill them. In fact, you may want to kill the escorts first if you know out of a group who's actually escorting the boss around, because you could wipe out some DPS that will be far easier to kill than the boss, not that these bosses aren't easy, before actually fighting the boss. This is a good thing to practice for when you plan on doing later, more difficult bosses in the game, because typically that's what you want to do in order to avoid getting yourself killed or drained of energy, because in a lot of cases on the later bosses, any escorts they have will actually be electronic warfare based, and they will exist to drain your energy, neutralize your energy, break your lock, that kind of thing. Moving it down now over to the Lenworth Sector, we have the Imperial boss for this island. He is located at coordinates 1546 by 1797. And now for the final boss on New Virginia, located in the Nui Kenebis sector. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. This is Bonnie. Bonnie is located at 1708 by 850. When killing any of these bosses, you have a way you can go about choosing to do them. As a new player, you probably won't have enough cargo space to carry all the loot around, so while you can take all of your loot, run back to the Truehold Marks and Terminal and dump it in there, and then go to the next boss, it may be more convenient, potentially, if you just dump it in a nearby field terminal and come back for it later, maybe with a transport robot. Maybe let it accumulate there over time, come back with a transport robot. For Bonnie specifically, you'll notice that he's actually in a spawn of enemies, a whole lot of enemies that surround him in the complex that he's in, and I would highly recommend killing these. These robots are worth more experience points than any other random unit spawn on the entire island, basically. Certainly more than any other units that spawn with any of the other bosses on this island. It's a lot of experience points, and it tends to go overlooked. They have a spawn timer of 10 minutes, and the bosses themselves, at the moment, after a recent update, have a spawn timer of 2 hours. This may change with time as the player base grows. The devs have said that they will improve the spawn timers as the player base increases if they need to. So while you can't run around the whole island, kill all the bosses, and then do it again because they won't be back up by then, let's say you've moved on and you're doing multiple activities, or say you're doing the Hirschfield bosses as well, which is the next alpha island. You could go from island to island back and forth and make your whole day bossing if you really wanted to. After a recent update, you'll notice that after killing Bonnie, that a portal is going to drop where he was. That's a mini stronghold. That was added with a very recent update, and not all the bosses have them. Only 2 in the entire game have them right now. I will make a dedicated video for those in the future. But do note, as a brand new player, you probably don't want to jump into that immediately until you get some practice. playing with your robot and fitting your robot. So if this is the first activity you're doing, don't jump in that portal unless you really just want to Leroy Jenkins it. And that's it. That is my beginner's guide for getting yourself into bossing. I will make more beginner's guides like this and other videos on this game, and I will be streaming it regularly over on Twitch. I have a corporation in-game, which you are free to join if you wish. Other than finding me in-game or joining my stream chats, the best way to get in contact with me and get into this game with me is to join the community server located in the description below. Join in there and I will gladly help get you into any activities we're doing, and in fact, if I'm available to play this game, I would love to take you around a spin of New Virginia to kill these bosses with you. That's it for now though, so thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you on another Perpetuum video next Tuesday.